Hello everyone and welcome back to another round of Creeper World 3 Arc Eternal with Help 64. Today, again as we said last video, we're going to be looking into the Forge and also a few other things. So we're going to start this run up, and it's going to be another fairly small map as opposed to last time. So again, just to go over things, especially when you have enough space, like I do here, it's a good idea to set up multiple command centers or orbitals just to kind of allow packets to generate a little bit faster. Now, one thing you will notice on this map is we have the digitalis again. That's that wire mesh thing that allows creep to move a lot faster up and down, well, up hills. That'll allow it to reach areas a little bit quicker. They're also, if they have creep on them, then they will actually cause the buildings on top of it to be destroyed as well. And they can get that up really quickly. So again, we're just going to set up the base real fast and then we'll jump right into it. So this time I'm also trying something new with the microphone. I'm hoping that it won't be too terrible. I noticed that some of the words were being dropped and things like that, so I actually set it so that there isn't a delay, it doesn't silence detect, which is one of the main reasons why that was happening in the previous videos. And we will also probably look at one of the different other weapons that we have. I guess I can kind of lay out what the plan is. Mainly I'm going to be getting through all the basic basic buildings, and then once I've done that, then I'll probably actually start playing some of these levels for real, and we'll have less downtime. So that looks okay to start. Again, I should just deactivate a few of these to prevent some of the overload that is absolutely going to happen. And once we have a little bit of a working base, I'll actually create the forge, and we'll go over it at that time. But first I want to get started up. And if any of you have questions out there, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will be looking at those when I can. And let's start. Let's see what happens. 2, 3, 4. Ooh, this is going to be close. I think I can get it though. Cool. So notice everything connected to this one is gone. There we go. Now I'm going to activate this one, this one. So again, we're starting off with cannons. Cannons are some of my favorite weapons. I'm not sure if they're the best, but they're definitely some of my favorite. They give a good kind of base damage attack. They push it back fairly easily, and they don't cost much energy. Are they the most energy efficient? Meh, I don't know. But I like them, and so I use them most of the time. And same thing with mortars. That's why I tend to use mortars in cannons the most. Just because of how I like, what I like. Okay. Let's actually get that started. It looks like I have plenty of kind of room and time. This looks like an easier map. And that here. Again, these are ore mines. They're the things that actually work to generate the anti-creep from the ore. And in order to actually generate it, I need a sprayer. Everything's looking so good so far. Cool. Now, let's actually pull up the forge. Now, as I mentioned last time, the forge is kind of there to create upgrades. It uses these here to actually generate the power for the upgrades. They're just a little bit of an energy kind of beam that gets sent out each every so often, and they do increase in speed as time goes on. So at first they start out at 1.0, and then as time goes on they actually increase to 2.0 and further as the map goes on. And as I mentioned last time, I always like having always on. It's really fun. It just kind of generates the same kind of thing as over here on my end. I don't know, for me it's a lot of fun. Okay, and while I'm waiting, let's charge it without the forge. That'll allow it to be all ready when the forge is finally finished. Okay, get a few more collectors in place. Okay. So while we're waiting for that to kind of get built up, let's actually build the two different aircraft units. So there's two different types. There's strafers and bombers. The bombers, they drop less attacks, but they're much more powerful. I mean, that's kind of what a bomber is, so it makes sense. And then the strafers, they just kind of shoot almost like a machine gun across. And so we'll look into that a little bit. Okay, here's the forge. So each of these green numbers underneath, they represent how much power or energy, forge energy, it requires to actually do it. There's also a singularity weapon. We can't use it right now, but that is also an option. That basically generates a black hole that sucks in all the creep. I'm not sure how much forge energy it takes. I can't remember, honestly, at this time. But let's kind of go over the different options for the forge. So these two are just increase the max amount. So right now I can only hold 24 energy and like 20 anti-creep or something like that. If I increase it, it will actually increase it by a set amount. And so it'll allow me to hold not just 24, but maybe 100 or so on and so forth. I rarely use this because until like I've done everything else, because normally I'm kind of hitting the boundaries of how much energy I need, and I don't really need much more than what I have. There's much better upgrades out there. So this one's packet speed. This makes all of these different packets that go along here just move that much faster. The ones that I do at the start are energy efficiency and ore efficiency. Basically that allows for me to have less collectors doing the same kind of job, especially the ore. Since ore spots are limited, it allows me to kind of have a better anti-creep generation than you would normally expect. Okay, so the strafers have now finished building. So what you do with them is you click somewhere, and they will eventually fill up, just like the guppy of last time. And once they filled up, they will actually go and attack that area. Trying to remember, I think, oh. Huh. Okay. Bombers apparently use anti-creep. I completely forgot about that. But yeah, I mean, the strafers, they just kind of, they have that target set, and then they just kind of circle around shooting at the creeper, well, actually the ground. If there was no creeper there, then they would just kind of attack the ground. We can see that if I set it over like here, for example. And so they just kind of continuously attack until they run out of energy, then they run back home, and they will, at that point, fill up again. And as you can see, they are still charging the energy while they're out flying. Okay. So I'm just increasing the energy efficiency and ore efficiency. These are the two main ones I want to do first. And then as time goes on, then I'll get some of these other ones. So build speed. This allows the packets to come out a lot faster. As we've mentioned a few times, the packets, they have a set rate at which they are created from these command centers. And when you have the build speed upgrade, then they come out a lot faster. Move speed, this makes everything just move faster. So these planes would move faster whenever I want to move this forward. That would move faster, just like everything that moves just goes a little bit faster. The next one is fire rate. So these cannons already shoot pretty fast, but if I increase the fire rate, then that increases how quickly they attack still, attack even more. They still use the same amount of energy. It's not like the big circle of death that we had after we destroy one of these spawners. It just, allows us to attack a little bit faster. And then finally, fire range. This just increases the circle of everything that is a weapon. So it doesn't really affect these ones that much. But it will affect the mortars, it will affect the nullifiers, sprayers, beam, everything else will be affected. Okay, so now we get some mortars to push things back. That is one thing. Cannons make it really hard to actually push the creep back like you can to a certain degree. You need a lot of them. But the mortars, since they do hit and destroy quite a bit of the creep when they hit, it allows for a much kind of better pushback. So now I have to make a decision. As we've talked, Digitalis is pretty nasty, especially with building buildings on top of it. Whenever there's kind of creep underneath it, it does make it harder for it to generate. Okay. Sorry. Whenever there's creep kind of being sucked up by it, then it makes it really hard to actually get in there and actually build things nearby. And as we've talked last time, nullifiers cannot move, and so we really have to just kind of be really careful with how we're going to be going about this one. Let's see, right there would be fine. Cool. So we're just going to build up some more mortars, push it back. Let's actually increase the speed to ×3. We should be okay with that. Forges are still going up, and so if you notice, this one's now at 1.19%. So it's 0.19% faster than it was. Okay, let's increase the anti-creep. Sorry, ore efficiency. And heck, we'll bump up the move speed. And mortar. Okay. Apparently I lost my mortar. That sucks. Weapons, mortar. Okay. We'll just kind of push up all fronts. Try and get everything forward as much as possible. Push the creep back. Forge is now up a little bit more. Let's increase the... I have enough energy right now. Nothing's going red. We're all at peak efficiency. So the ore is kind of more important at this point. Let's get another cannon. Build another mortar. How close am I? Okay, I need to be there in order to actually get forward and destroy it. Okay, I moved a little bit too far forward, but now, okay, let's move this more. So, while we're kind of having this downtime, I guess I can talk about some other things, just more kind of general information about who I am, kind of what I'm doing, and kind of what my plans are for this channel. So I am someone who's been gaming most of my life. I've probably been gaming since I was about 12 or so, 10, 12, something like that. I started with the... Did I start with the SNES or did I start with the actual original Nintendo? I can't remember because my grandma had the actual Nintendo, but I actually got the original SNES one Christmas for my birthday. Sorry, for Christmas. And so I was definitely a Nintendo fanboy. I still am. I really enjoy kind of Nintendo's products and everything else like that. I haven't been playing console games as much and kind of got out of gaming for a while. But I'm trying to get back into it a little bit. So that's kind of how things started. Some of my fondest memories are being able to play some of the fun games that were created back then. I always had a lot of fun with that. Let's see. As I grew older, though, console games kind of got replaced by PC gaming. PC gaming is always just a little bit less expensive. Where my name actually comes from, Help 64, though, that actually comes from the Nintendo 64. I used to have some friends that I would play around, play some games with, and now I'm not the best at gaming, as one can obviously tell from these videos, but I would always try and help out as much as I possibly could. And the 64 was one of the bigger ones. Not just with how to play the game, but also like every once in a while my friends would have issues with their system, and so I'd help them out a little bit, try and get them back and running. Okay. And so that's kind of where my name actually originated from. I wasn't the 64th help person out here. And so that name kind of generated a little bit before I actually started playing computer games where that name was important. Okay. So we're almost done here. And so I'll kind of go into kind of the goals of this, I guess this one. So what kind of got me started with actually playing this game, making videos and stuff like that is I actually want to start trying to speedrun. At first I'm just going to be speedrunning a game called A Link to the Past, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, but it's the randomized version of it. So basically, in Zelda, there's different items that you can pick up and such, and they all have a set place of where they're actually, you can find those items. And what the randomizer does is it actually changes all those locations. And depending on the different options you choose and things like that, it can really make the game completely different. You might have to beat the final boss with very, very, very few items. You might have to go into harder and tougher fights with very little life. So it makes it more difficult, but kind of the random nature, and that's also something about me, is I like randomness. And so the random nature of the game interests me a lot. Oh, I lost the nullifier. That's sad. Guess I'll have to start again. And so that's something that I am planning on doing. I might do some other games as well, if I can kind of get permission from the different creators of those games. I definitely don't want to screw anyone over for copyrights or anything like that, so I want to make sure that I'm completely above board. Okay. And this is it. We're on the last legs. All we have to do is deploy the last nullifier and we win this map. I will try to get another video out soon. We'll see how that kind of goes. But in the meantime, we'll just kind of watch the final thing be destroyed. Wait, I thought that was the final thing. Wasn't that the final thing? Oh, here it is. I can't even see it underneath the destruction. So I will try and get a more regular schedule. Right now, things are just kind of in a flux and everything, so I will try and do some more. Well, everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have anything that you'd like to say, definitely leave me a comment, and I will do my best. Thanks.